Parkour and zombies. These two words can summarize Dying Light really well. But this game is more than that. And it has to be more than that since it is one of the best zombie games that have ever came to existence. It's been 11 years since the game came out. And how is it? Well, in this video I will try to explain what makes Dying Light so good and how it's holding up after these years. To start off, let's talk about the intro and how it sets the stage. The game starts with a woman telling us what is our mission, explaining that Kadir Suleiman, who is a leader of one of the factions in Harran, has stolen an important file that we have to recover. After getting the intel, we jump out of the plane and get our parachute stuck on a building, and because of that we get our first encounter with the people of Harran.
I told you that wasn't a normal drop shoot.
Break his legs, then take him to Rais.
It isn't exactly nice, but fortunately a nice lady and a man who will probably be important. Yeah, never mind, he dies in the first few seconds. But fortunately, we do survive and start the tutorial. The tutorial itself introduces us to characters and both fighting and parkour mechanics we will be using throughout the game. We start with Rahim fucking around with us and calling us a waste of antizin, and after that telling us to save the 13th floor. We get another GRE talk, and for those who don't know, GRE is the organization that hired us to recover the file. Anyways, on the 13th floor we get to experience the combat mechanic, which is just pure melee. And let me tell you, smacking zombies in this game is something. Dying Light's focus on melee is very fitting for a world of a zombie apocalypse, especially considering how zombies react to sound. It's also a well-made mechanic that just works. Don't get me wrong, since melee combat is the focus, gunplay sucks and feels weird. But honestly, smacking zombies and people around is way more fun, especially considering the arsenal we are provided with. In the tutorial we will be using a plain pipe, and of course we are able to find different kinds of weapons like baseball bats, machetes, knives, and plenty of other things that you would use to smack shit with. But that just seems too basic, right? I mean, even if we look at The Walking Dead, Negan had his beautiful Lucille, a baseball bat wrapped with barbed wire. Well, I'd say this shit is too basic. Here's a machete that has a battery strapped onto it that cuts and electrocutes zombies at the same time. Dying Light's weapons are the crafty type. It's the type of DIY shit you'd think about while being bored during a zombie apocalypse. I mean, hell, why the fuck would you stick a welding torch to a hatchet? Of course, apart from the crafted weapons, you can also find some goofy stuff like a sword that is stuck in a stone. And to obtain it, you have to hold one button for a couple of minutes.
You didn't have to cut me off.
The reward is a sword that smacks the enemies into the atmosphere. The game has a fun combat system that isn't serious or realistic. It's a nice blend of both worlds. That being said, Dying Light's combat is solid. The focus on melee mixed with weapons you can craft is amazing and adds flavor to the game. Anyways, back to the tutorial. After cleaning up the 13th floor and saving a guy that was stuck there, we get back to Rahim and he decides to show us his explosive tendencies.
Rahim, you are just smart enough to be dangerous, you know that? Omar told me about your plans for the nest. Explosive charges? Really?
What? Explosives?
Oh,
I never
please.
said that.
Unfortunately, his sister Jade decides to stop his masculine urges to explode a tower, probably because she doesn't want history to repeat itself. We thank her and Rahim teaches us parkour, which we will use to traverse the world of Dying Light. The tutorial does this funny thing in which everything yellow is a path. It's a cool way to color code our monkey brains to climb whatever is yellow without placing useless markers. Rahim shows us basic stuff, where to jump when we want to survive or fall, how to climb and all that shebang. The parkour is the core element of exploration and the world of Dying Light. Without it, it would be just another dead island. This mechanic, apart from being fun, is tied to the lore of the game. The people in the tower that brings supplies use parkour to traverse around Harran, and since we passed our test, we can now take our first breath and admire said place. And honestly, Harran is a great world to explore. There's two locations in the base game, the slums and the old town, which is the richer part of the city. For now, let's focus on the area made for broke people like you and me. The slums are the first area we will be exploring in the game, and exploring them is one of a kind experience, one that sticks with you throughout your life with video games. The slums of Harran are like any other slums, dirty with buildings that are ugly and made cheaply. Ironically enough, it wasn't the apocalypse that made them this way, it was always like that. The only difference between before and after was the fact that the cars moved and there was less fire. Other than that, they stayed the same with poverty and criminal activities. It's interesting to see such an area stopped in time due to the circumstances it's in. Exploring and running around the slums provides us with a unique experience. It's interesting to see cars and traffic being stopped in time mixed with the overall living quality of the area. With that being said, let's focus on the thing you gain from exploring the map. Apart from things that you can find around the map like chests filled with valuables to sell or things to craft with, you level up your skills. Leveling up in Dying Light is similar to Oblivion but a bit different. In Oblivion you level up and spend points on attributes while also leveling up stuff like athletics by just running around the map. In Dying Light, running around the map rewards us with free running experience. Said experience levels up your free running skill, which lets you spend points in the skill tree to unlock new abilities tied to it. In the base game there are 4 skill trees, 3 that are actually the main ones, which are Survivor that we level up by completing quests and bringing in care packages dropped from the sky, free running that I mentioned before, and combat that is leveled up through smacking zombies. It's a fine system that makes you level stuff up without noticing it. At times I would forget that I had new skill points to spend just to spend few in one go. That being said, let's get back to the story. Dying Light's story at the start revolves around the stolen file. Post-tutorial we learn about the importance of antizin. Antizin is a drug that, as Dr. Zera states while giving us a shot of it, delays the inevitable, and since the tower lacks said drug we need to get it through airdrops. And even when we get the antizin, since the first crate was already taken by Rais's men, GRE wants us to get rid of it to provoke an interaction between you and Rais to get that file.
How long have we been friends, Osman? We have been friends for a very long time. That is why I'm so surprised that you would steal from me.
Haven't I seen you somewhere before?
Now I give you a choice. Very simple. Your right hand or your left?
Left.
Was that my left or your left? You have the look of the tower about you. What do you want?
Rais wants us to do some jobs for him before giving us the antizin needed for the tower. After doing them, he gives us a small amount of antizin instead of 2 promised crates. He also shows the file we are looking for to the public, which states that GRE wants to exploit the virus, not cure it. And since Rais lied to us, we need to find another way of getting antizin, and because of that Jade finds a school where Rais stores things. Because of that she thinks there might be some antizin there. And was she right? Of course not, but we do find some explosives that will help Rahim finally explode that tower. Something goes wrong and we have to help him with that mission. After that it turns out he got bit and well, we snap his neck.
Stop!
After these events, Rais decides to kidnap Dr. Zera and Crane has to rescue him, in which he doesn't succeed since he gets ambushed and we have to fight in an arena to entertain Rais's men. We do get a window of opportunity to cut off Rais's hand, but Zera gets killed by Rais, who has his research files, and we escape without them. Post that, GRE gives us 24 hours to prove that there is a cure or they will bomb the city. Editing Zero here, so from what I realized, the thing I said happens before we head for Zera. So that means we head for Zera after getting informed by GRE that they're gonna bomb the shit out of Harran. And because of that, we have to find saviors to get out of slums and get to the old town and meet Dr. Camden for the possible cure. Turns out the saviors don't want to help us and they're associated with Rais, despite of them assuring us that they're thankful for what we did to him.
Okay, we'll get you to the other side.
Right when?
Right now.
And what about payment?
What you did to Rais, that's more than enough payment for us.
That being said, we still get to the Old Town, and before I talk about what happens next in the story, let me tell you how different Old Town is compared to the slums. Old Town is basically a district for the people with money. You know, the ones that can actually afford RAM with the current prices. Here you would actually be able to spot a huge difference between before and after Apocalypse. Apart from cars being stopped in time, it's dirty all over the place. Even while looting, you can spot the difference since the developers decided to make different models for chests in said place. Old Town compared to Harran is like earth and heaven. One was impoverished and the apocalypse didn't affect it that much, the other had money and became really different after the dead started walking. Throughout the story we also get to learn that the government didn't give jack shit about the people of Harran. They built new places to work at, but the jobs weren't given to the locals. Based on that information we can guess that there was plenty of immigrants in the richer part. Old Town is a different world compared to the slums. It's a nice image of Harran you would see if you'd go there for vacation. That said, we get to the Old Town and we meet Troy, the lady that was thankful for us restoring the communications while doing things for Rais. Unfortunately, Crane, instead of going straight for the cure, decides to start looking for Jade, that is still pissed at him for her brother dying.
Hey buddy, have you seen a woman named Jade Aldemir? She's got long dark hair, she's tough as nails.
So we focus on other things like showing the world that there's still people in Harran. We do that by exploding few rooms in a building to make it look like a smiley face. Our efforts unfortunately get shot down by jets, but Jade forgives us. Unfortunately, Rais captures her and she gets bit while our antizin effects wear down, and in an emotional manner she becomes a zombie while giving us the last shot of antizin. After that we fight Tahir, who's the biggest goon Rais probably has. We kill him and recover half of Zera's research. After that we focus on establishing contact with the outside world to prove that there's still people in Harran. After doing so, GRE contacts us and tells us that they want the files, and if we give them said files we will get out and get paid. And since we know their motives, Crane isn't so keen to work with them. Our main focus is getting the first half of Zera's research to Dr. Camden. After doing so we decide to contact GRE, and instead of them we get Rais. He tells us that we are at war of two opposite ideals and that he will be extracted by GRE after making a deal. He dares us to stop him, so we head to the tower he's located in. We obviously get through the tower whilst learning that he betrayed all of his men for his own gain. As you can guess, we obviously kill him. The whole boss fight is a huge meme, not just because of the moments it has, but because it's just a quick time event, which is quite disappointing. So that's the whole story. Did I enjoy it? I would say I did, despite of it being short. Rais was a fun character to explore and should have gotten more screen time. The characters we meet throughout the game are okay, but in my opinion, apart from few, they are barely memorable or just killed off. The only characters from the tower that stay alive are Brecken and Lena. Apart from that, everyone that was important to us dies. Don't get me wrong, it's a good story, but adding a bit length to it would be the only solution, since I didn't feel much of a loss when any of the characters died due to the small amount of time I spent with them. Apart from that, there's funny dialogue spread around the game.
The music of suffering, played by slaves. Perfect for a slave.
Hey, why are you shouting?
I'm shouting because this fucked up infected motherfucker with guns hanging out of his mouth just spit a bunch of toxic snot at me.
Not a bad reason.
It made it a bit more entertaining and a cool addition to the art style. Dying Light's story isn't bad, quite the opposite. It's good, the only issue is its length. I wish I could get to know Rahim or Jade better before their demise. That being said, as I mentioned before, I did enjoy it and it is quite unique, especially considering the theme of antizin and free running. Apart from the story, there's obviously side quests, and they aren't that bad. Obviously, some of them are just run to X location, kill zombies and do X thing, but there's some that stand out, like the guy that has his mother made out of bugs, or the Wood that needs a gun. We later meet the Wood while heading to the Old Town, and whilst in Old Town he starts a broadcast to help him.
Can anyone hear me? This is the Wood.
What do you want?
I'm with a small child. We need help.
He gets bit and dies, and we rescue his son that he took away from his wife and deliver him back to the tower. I think side quests get their job done with being an extra XP source, but I do think that there should be more stories that are as funny as Ghazi's mom made out of bugs, or an ongoing story of Dawood. With all that being said, let's focus on the last part before ending the video. That part being the apocalypse. I honestly think the zombie apocalypse shown in Dying Light is great. Apart from normal zombies, we have special types like the big guys, bigger guys, spitters, or volatiles that only appear during the night and chase the player. It's honestly cool to see day and night cycle being utilized in such a way where the nights are dangerous but reward the player with extra XP. The world itself is unique since we don't have much zombie stuff based in slums. It's the same depiction we see everywhere with some good seasoning, and that seasoning makes it unique and different. With all that being mentioned, Dying Light is and always will be one of the best zombie games out there. I would recommend playing it to anyone that hasn't or just wants to re-experience it not knowing if it holds up. And it does still holds up graphically and mechanically. I mean, graphically maybe you'll notice some age, but it still does looks and play nice. So with all that being said, thank you for watching and I do hope you enjoyed this video.